Welcome to this video podcast created by the Betty Sinclair branch of the Communist Party of Ireland. It's on the subject of the book Labour in Irish History by James Connolly. My name is Alan Evans. The historical context for the book is that it was written in 1910, very shortly after Connolly's return from 5 years in America. It is a remarkable book for its lucid and insightful writing, which is in stark contrast to some other Marxist writers. Connolly was born into extreme poverty in Edinburgh to Irish parents. He left school aged 9 and was largely self-educated. He was an incredible human being, indefatigable, selfless, dedicated to the cause of the working class. He gave his life literally to the cause. Core ideas of the book, to summarise them, national liberation must include class liberation. Connolly insisted that true Irish freedom cannot be achieved without dismantling capitalist structures. Political independence without economic justice is hollow. Movements for Irish unity or sovereignty must also confront wealth disparity, housing crises, workers' rights, etc. Core ideas number 2. Working class must be the vanguard of change. He saw the working class as the inheritors of Ireland's revolutionary tradition, more trustworthy than elites or middle-class nationalists. Core ideas in the book 3. Criticism of historical narratives. Connolly exposed how Irish history has been sanitised to glorify aristocrats and ignore peasant and labour revolts. He shows again and again how the middle and upper classes betrayed the struggle for Irish freedom. Point 4. Internationalism over parochialism. Ireland's future should be shaped by solidarity with global struggles against capitalism and exploitation, not narrow nationalism. He praised movements like the United Irishmen for their democratic and internationalist ideals. Core ideas number 5. Gaelic communist ideals. Connolly saw ancient Gaelic societies, communal land ownership, as a model for socialism and something inherent in the Irish psyche, destroyed by the English. He thought land reform, public ownership, and cooperative economics should be framed not as foreign imports, but as a return to indigenous Irish values. I think his analysis of the significance of Gaelic society is wrong, and this is something we will come back to later on in the video. List of significant Connolly quotations. These illustrate the clarity and sharpness of Connolly's writings. If you remove the English army tomorrow and hoist the green flag over Dublin Castle, unless you set about the organisation of the Socialist Republic, your efforts will be in vain. Governments in capitalist society are but committees of the rich to manage the affairs of the capitalist class. Quotations 2. The Irish people will only be free when they own everything from the plough to the stars. We believe in constitutional action in normal times. We believe in revolutionary action in exceptional times. Don't be practical in politics. To be practical in that sense means that you have schooled yourself to think about along the lines that those who rob you would desire you to think. Significant quotations 3. Ireland as distinct from her people is nothing to me. The man who is bubbling over with love for Ireland and can yet pass unmoved through our streets is, in my opinion, a fraud and a liar in his heart. If you strike at, imprison or kill us, out of our prisons or graves we will still evoke a spirit that will thwart you. Men perish, but principles live. Discussion of the book. I'm going to look at various points. First, if this was a university course, the aim would be to educate ourselves in the ideas and life of James Connolly so we could all pass an exam. But this is a Communist Party, and all study must have the central purpose of helping us to advance the practical process of overthrowing capitalism in Ireland and uniting its people under the leadership, the dictatorship of the working class. The slides you're reading of the book and all the other study preparation have all contributed to our knowledge of Connolly, but I now want to put forward for discussion 4 areas where we can see that his brilliant ideas and dedicated work did not lead Ireland to a socialist revolution. We now know that Ireland and the socialist movement were not ready, not yet matured. The first point to discuss is his ideas on Gaelic heritage, probably the least important part, that we've raised already. Connolly interpreted the Gaelic heritage in medieval Ireland as meaning the Irish people had an innate socialist system and way of living that needed and could be revived. But we now know that these forms were universal in the evolution of societies throughout the world. Parallels in Africa, South and North America, Europe, etc. They are part of the pre-private property structures that facilitated and reflected a particular stage of social evolution that cannot be sustained and must inevitably disappear. Point 2. The need for a vanguard communist party. Connolly knew the working class had to lead the revolution and knew that this meant there had to be an organisation and a workers' party. Lenin's What is to be Done was written in 1902 and presumably the ideas were in circulation. But Connolly organised a looser structure, meaning that the working class did not have the leadership, education and discipline that Lenin clarified and implemented. Presumably believing the workers could spontaneously solve all the problems because of their innate nature, the view of most socialists in the world at that time and probably today. Point 3. The need for a large-scale, working-class-led mass revolutionary movement of all oppressed people in Ireland. The United Front has to be built, trained and organised over a period of time. It has to have scale and momentum. It has to have fought battles and learned discipline and be united around the revolutionary programme of the period. Connolly may have understood this. He was impetuous to seize the hour created by the First World War and Britain's weakness. His action was not yet supported by a broad national mass movement. Point 4. The Easter Rising itself. The Easter Rising was a spectacular, heroic and partially successful step in Ireland's historic fight for freedom. The momentum it created was seized by the bourgeoisie, and our fight is for socialism. Connolly repeatedly said hoisting a green flag does not mean freedom for the working class, and of course this is something we have found to be true. More on the Easter Rising. However, maybe he thought that revolution, overthrow of the old system, would, in the conditions of 1916, lead to a new world, and maybe to a society controlled and dominated by the working class. If he believed that, he was wrong. The bourgeoisie will not go unless we have a disciplined People's Army and a mass movement led by a vanguard communist party with a revolutionary program. The Bolshevik Revolution taught us this. So, in conclusion, James Connolly, the great Irish working class leader and theoretician, would, in my opinion, have adopted the ideas of the Bolsheviks. Unfortunately, he died before he or we had that opportunity. I asked the question, why has his example not led to new revolutionaries of his calibre and to the Bolshevik party we need? We can do this.
A large crowd had gathered outside of Kilmainham, with heads all uncovered. They knelt on the ground, far behind that grim prison lay a brave Irish soldier, his life for his country about to lay down. He went to his death, like a true son of Ireland, the firing party he bravely did face. Then the order rang out, present arms and fire. James Connolly fell into a ready